Greetings, I'm your host, Dr. Wolfula, and it's been a while, but I've finally been back to the theater after avoiding it for over a month. Why? Well, taxes were last month, and it made a smoking crater out of my bank account. Things aren't looking too good. But also the last movie I saw in theaters was Death of a Unicorn, which was kind of a piece of shit. A dour, condescending attempt at satire instead of entertainment.
It's a fucking unicorn.
And the first movie I saw at the theater this year was Lee Whannell's Wolfman. The most unsatisfying attempt at a werewolf movie I've ever watched. So this has been, at least from my skewed perspective, a bad year for movies. But it seems like it might be getting better. Sinners was released to high acclaim and performance, and I have been very consistently asked to see that movie and make a video on it. But I didn't. Instead I saw, and will be reviewing, Clown in a Cornfield from Eli Craig, director of cult favorite Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. This movie's a little more on brand for my channel, but hey, I might still cover Sinners. We'll see. But for now, Clown in a Cornfield.
What the fuck?
I went into Clown in a Cornfield blind. I only saw the poster for it and knew the guy who directed Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, Eli Craig, directed it.
Run! We're going to be alive!
Which I suppose comes with certain expectations, but honestly not that many, considering he's only directed 3 movies in his 15-year career, and his only other movie is a Netflix parody of The Omen starring Adam Scott that was released nearly a decade ago. So, Tucker and Dale was a good, funny movie, but I didn't have crazy expectations with Craig's latest film. I was surprised to learn that Clown in a Cornfield is based on a YA novel of the same name released back in 2020, which I had never heard of before. But in my defense, there was a lot happening that year. Halloween Kills got delayed. Clown in a Cornfield is a pretty typical slasher movie that's very much a cross between a traditional 80s slasher and, of course, Scream, while also riffing on the clown sighting phenomenon nearly a decade back. And the film ultimately works pretty well for the most part, but does this slasher movie think outside the box? Or should I say, outside the jack-in-the-box? Really? Nothing? Okay, well, before my Clown in a Cornfield review, I just want to give a shout out to my sponsor, me. Pledge to my Patreon today to support the channel and help it continue to grow, and you'll also get access to weekly movie nights every Sunday, and archive commentaries if you missed the movie nights live. Just $5 a month to get a movie night every week. Here are the movies I'll be streaming next Sunday. Pledge to patreon.com/Dr. Wolfula if you're interested in my bonus streams, and I thank you in advance.
It's time to sweeten the day with the marvel of Bay Pen brand corn syrup.
Clown in a Cornfield tells the story of Quinn, a 17-year-old played by a 25-year-old, who moves to the town of Kettle Springs, Missouri with her recently widowed father in the wake of the recent, unexpected, tragic death of Quinn's mother. Fun! After Quinn is placed in detention on her first day of school for the sake of the plot, the brief Breakfast Club detention scene allows Quinn to quickly and efficiently become acquainted with all of her supporting cast of victims and learn the basic lore of her new town in the space of like 5 minutes.
He's practically a local legend.
Kettle Springs is the supposed place where corn syrup was invented and manufactured at the old burned-down Bay Pen factory, whose logo was a creepy clown that went on to be adopted as the town's mascot itself. The titular Clown in a Cornfield, Friendo the Clown.
Friendo?
Yeah, his name is Friendo, which is honestly kinda lame. It makes me think of dorky millennial slang like calling dogs doggos. The name Friendo could have used a punch-up is what I'm saying. The meddling kids of the film run a YouTube channel where they pull pranks involving a murderous version of Friendo the Clown, and it makes the group of teens a target of disdain by the town's older population.
Smile, silly girl. You're about to become a sensation.
Clown in a Cornfield is a pretty straightforward slasher movie, which is funny to say because there is a gay love story in it, but the movie does simultaneously explore some ideas that are interesting and plus up the film's otherwise typical premise.
There's a psycho dressed up like Friendo.
The gang's YouTube prank show blurs the lines of whether what's happening in the film is real or not, which lead to some amusing moments and did make me think at times that the movie was just some elaborate prank or something.
Hey, check it out, it's Friendo!
I kinda expected some kind of twist to the slasher formula coming from the Tucker and Dale guy, but no, it's a normal slasher movie. The characters even make some played-out jokes about black characters always dying in slasher flicks, and the black characters all do die in this movie, so they're really playing things close to the vest in this film. The situations are cliched, and the characters are more like caricatures. A joke in the movie is that the teens don't even know what a rotary phone is, or how to drive stick in life-or-death situations.
Call 911!
Where's the button, Jen?
What kind of phone is it?
But the YouTube prank show element does add to the film in a way that's more organic to the slasher formula than the characters just assuming that they're being pranked without any established precedent.
Never fuck with friendo.
Clown in a Cornfield also riffs on generational tensions that have always existed but seem to worsen over time. Resentments between generations that usually result in the older generations holding back the youngest out of fear, which is a strong central theme for a slasher movie to have, but it does make it extremely easy to tell what the final act reveal of the film will be. I didn't even really spoil it, and you probably know what it's gonna be, and the central theme does end up feeling like it obfuscates the central premise of the film being a killer clown movie. And it becomes clear early on that this is a Scooby-Doo scenario where it's a mustache-twirling criminal going after some meddling kids, and not an actual immortal clown living in a cornfield. And, admittedly, the lifers in Kettle Springs are cartoony caricatures of small-town southern folk who act as suspiciously as possible. Will Sasso from Mad TV plays the sheriff, for God's sake.
Be careful who you hang out with. There's some real weirdos at this town.
When an actually murderous friendo enters the scene, picking off random teens in typically creative slasher movie fashion, the future victims think friendo is just one of their friends pranking them.
Tucker, you asshole, man.
So it allows friendo time to tee up some killings, like decapitating a musclehead with a hacksaw attached to the himbo's own dumbbell. There's even a kill where a chick gets impaled into a light socket with a pitchfork, electrocuting her to death. Savage as fuck! The movie is initially a by-the-book slasher flick, and there's honestly nothing special about Friendo the Clown as a villain. There are 100 clown-themed horror movies a year, and nothing to set Friendo apart from all of his precursors. He just looks like a cross between Pennywise and Art the Clown, but halfway through the film, during a party out in the town's cornfield, the movie reveals that there are multiple Friendos lurking among the corn stalks, wielding chainsaws, and the movie becomes much more a fight for survival between angsty teens and a legion of clowns. The more accurate title would have been the plural clowns in a cornfield.
Trying to kill us!
The film really pays off on its long build-up with constant chases and kills. Friendo puts the S in laughter with this movie, that's for sure, but the film also has interesting suspenseful moments, like Quinn's dad being a doctor who ends up being detained by the clowns to patch up one of the injured jesters, and Dr. Quinn Medicine Man has to try to break his Hippocratic oath as quickly as possible to try to rescue his daughter from the clowns. Clown in a Cornfield is a pretty good slasher movie to me, at least up to a point. In the final act is where it kind of falters to me, and it feels like it cribs and repurposes ideas from other movies. So this is where I'm going to be spoiling the end of Clown in a Cornfield. If you want to avoid spoilers, click this time code to hear my final thoughts. After all the disposable characters are wiped out, Quinn, who isn't really important at all in the grand scheme of things, is abducted for some reason by the Friendos, who are revealed to be the shocker hicks that run the town, led by the town's Joker makeup sporting mayor, played by that guy who unfortunately looks like Elon Musk. Essentially, it's a Scream ending where the killers are about to claim victory, but instead monologue about their plan and motivations until the heroes have enough time to get out of their predicament through Deus Ex Machina.
See, it's a lot scarier when there's no motive, Sid.
Scream's ending worked for the first Scream, but all the sequels using its format and so many recent slasher movies following suit has gotten really old for me. I always roll my eyes when a slasher movie pulls this shit out of their ass, and I genuinely hate it because it makes the killers in these movies worse than Scooby-Doo villains, because they build up these cool personas and arbitrarily abandon these personas because the plot requires it. It's fucking annoying.
Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative!
The movie also ends up ripping off Hot Fuzz a bit with the premise of the town's old-timers cleansing the village of people they don't like.
How can this be for the greater good?
But there's also a Scooby-Doo villain motive fused in where the mayor was running an insurance scam, burning down his own factory. The only thing that really was surprising in the movie was the gay romance twist, just because it's set up seemingly as a love triangle between Quinn and two boys, Cole and Rust, who seem initially like they're competing for Quinn's affections, but it ultimately turns out Cole and Rust are actually in love with each other. We barely see Rust for most of the movie. I forgot about his character, and I realize now it was just so it wasn't totally obvious that he was gay for the Cole character. But the gay romance ends up feeling more like a punchline the way it's handled, but you know, whatever.
Where'd you get it from? I'm OG Kettle Springs, baby. I got all kinds of stuff.
Ultimately, Clown in a Cornfield has an overly happy ending where Quinn goes to college and her dad runs for mayor of the town after the previous murderous mayor escaped for the sake of having a sequel, which may get adapted into a film. I guess we'll see. There's also a third book. Clown in a Cornfield is a well-shot, entertaining, literally by-the-book slasher flick with some cool kills and interesting ideas and themes. It doesn't really do anything all that special, taking advantage of its clown-themed killers, and the ending of the movie really rang hollow for me and felt like a rehash of final acts in better movies, but ultimately the film works well as a mostly traditional, no-frills slasher flick that gets really fun halfway through. Most movies aren't going to be something special or memorable, they just need to manage to be entertaining for an hour-plus runtime, and this flick fits the bill. I give Clown in a Cornfield a rotary phone out of a stick-shift car. Not all pals are friendos, but all friends are palos. This video is made possible through the pledges of my Patreon supporters, and I'd like to give a very special thanks to the kind folks pledged to my shoutouts tier. All of their support on Patreon means a lot to me, and it helps my dark influence continue to grow. If you liked this video, like it, and if you loved it, click the subscribe and bell buttons for more videos. Be sure to also keep in touch by following me on social media at Dr. Wolfula. While I still have your attention, consider pledging to my Patreon to support the channel and get bonus content like private movie night streams with me and credits in my videos. Consider pledging at patreon.com/Dr. Wolfula. Also, check out official Dr. Wolfula merch on tpublic.com/user/Dr. Wolfula. Thanks for watching. Dr. Wolfula signing out.